Medium man, physical medium man, physical medium man. What'd you buy? Was it something good?
What's up, guys? Physical Media Man back here again for another Physical Media Man Monday video. I got a special video for you guys, and one that was kind of requested. I'm going to highlight some movies that I don't feel like get enough credit or talked about enough. They do get talked about some, and they do have some nice releases, but these are some movies that I really enjoy that I think you guys should check out if you haven't yet done so. So yeah, before I get started, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, leave feedback, do all that good stuff down below. I'll leave the links to my Instagram page, my Physical Media Man store Instagram page, my Facebook page for the Physical Media Man / Physical Media Man store, my Facebook page for non-media related items, the Hodgepodge Garage, my email, my eBay, my Twitter, my Letterboxd account. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to highlight some movies that I really enjoyed that definitely probably don't get put on people's top 10 lists. Some of them might, some of them probably wouldn't, but these are some really good movies that don't get a lot. Some of them only have DVD releases, but some of these do have nice releases, but I feel like they don't get talked about a lot. So I just kind of wanted to show some love to these movies. So first up, we got Elijah Wood and Charlie Hunnam and Green Street Hooligans. This only has a DVD release. They're brothers in this film, and Elijah Wood, I think, was kind of, he was a crazy soccer fan when he was younger, but he's kind of straightened his act and has a nice job, but his brother, I believe, it's been a while since I've watched this, but his brother comes back to live with them, and it kind of starts that back up, and it's just about crazy soccer fans and siblings, and a very good film that I don't feel like gets talked about too much, but a very, very, very good film. I highly suggest checking that one out. And yeah, it only has a Blu-ray release. Next up is one that was a blind buy for me on Criterion. So it does have a Criterion, it does have a nice release. I just feel like it doesn't get talked about enough for how much I enjoyed this one. So we got Jeff Daniels as well as Melanie Griffith and Ray Liotta in Something Wild. And this is directed by Jonathan Demme, who did a lot of really good films. So I'm just going to read the back, maybe on quite a few of these. So this one says, a straight-laced businessman meets a quirky, free-spirited woman at a downtown New York greasy spoon. Her offer of a ride back to his office results in a lunchtime motel rendezvous, just the beginning of a capricious interstate road trip that brings the two face-to-face with their hidden selves, featuring a killer soundtrack. And it definitely does. It opens with a David Bryan from Talking Heads track that I've actually purchased just from this movie. I love that song. And it also says an electric performances from Jeff Daniels, Melanie Griffith, and Ray Liotta. And this is just a fun, good movie. I really enjoy this one. If you haven't done so, I definitely recommend checking it out. Next up, I believe is actually getting a Kino release. I could be wrong on that. I just have a 3-pack for the time being, and I think all of these are getting released by Kino. So we got a Clint Eastwood Western. I kind of wanted to be all over the board here. And the one I'm recommending in this one, they're all pretty good, but Two Mules for Sister Sarah is the one I'm recommending. So, a hard-hitting drifter and an unusual nun, played by Shirley MacLaine. She's great in this film. Set off on an action-packed adventure when they join a band of freedom fighters in their mission to capture a well-protected enemy garrison. So, yeah, definitely recommend this Clint Eastwood one. I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan, and that's one of his better westerns. Of course, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly is probably his best, but that's one that I feel like doesn't get talked about enough. Next up is Louis Switcher's favorite film, one he highly suggested for me. I picked up the VHS because it was only like $2 on eBay, and there is this was put out by Universal, and there is a Universal like Hollywood Presents or some, they had some line, but that goes for a good $20. I'm happy with just having the VHS of this, but we got a movie that was written by Mike Binder. He also wrote and directed Crossing the Bridge and Indian Summer, but this is Coupe de Ville, and this is a really good film. So Patrick Dempsey, Ari Gross, and Daniel Stern star in this heartwarming comedy about three very different brothers who reluctantly unite for a 1,500-mile car trip at the request of their domineering father, played by Alan Arkin, who's also really good in this film. The trio finds themselves driving a classic 1954 powder blue Cadillac Coupe de Ville from Detroit to Miami for their mother's 50th birthday. So yeah, there's a lot of laughs in this one. Kind of a coming-of-age story of sorts, and just about family and different things. But it's very funny and very well done. The soundtrack's great. I definitely recommend this one, and this one's definitely one I feel like is never talked about. So yeah, I wouldn't have known about it until I watched the Lewis Switcher show. I'll try to leave the link down below if I remember to his channel. But I definitely recommend this. Checking this one out if you can. Next up, which also has a Scream Factory release, we got Darkman, and this is just the trilogy. But they're all pretty good. The first one's definitely the best, and it stars Liam Neeson. So it's directed by Sam Raimi. It's Dr. Peyton Westlake. He's on the verge of a major breakthrough in synthetic skin when a gang obliterates his lab and changes his life forever. This is a very good film. Yeah, it's kind of on the dark side of adventure, it says. He's almost kind of like a superhero battling evil. Definitely recommend checking these out, especially the first. And yeah, I might try to upgrade to that Scream Factory Blu-ray. Next up is one I have upgraded. I really enjoy Kurt Russell movies. This one I feel like doesn't get talked about too much. It does have a Shout Select release that I just upgraded to. So this DVD will be for sale. So we got him in Used Cars. Also stars Garrett Graham, Frank McRae, Deborah Harmon, and Jack Warden. So Jack Warden is brilliant in a double role as two feuding brothers, Luke and Roy L. Fuchs, who own competing car lots and are trying to drive each other out of business. Rudy Russo, played by Kurt Russell, is Luke's ace salesman, a charming and conniving cheat and liar who is merely in training for his true ambition, politics. In one of Rudy's most outrageous advertising ploys, he hires a model to strip on television, and they all wind up in a crazy automobile stampede involving 20 vintage cars and a high-speed chase that becomes a free-for-all demolition derby. This one's kind of outrageous, definitely funny, definitely worth a watch. Used Cars, Kurt Russell. Next up is kind of a mobster movie that I feel like is not really talked about too much. I believe it at least has a Blu-ray. I don't know if it has a boutique label Blu-ray or not, but we got Christopher Walken, Larry Fishburne, and David Caruso in King of New York. So Christopher Walken plays Frank White. So it says, in New York, crime gets done Frank's way, or it doesn't get done at all. Recently freed from prison, Frank White hooks up with his old crew to challenge his fellow drug lords. Each bloody battle aims at a piece of the high-priced action where being at the top of the chain can mean the difference between life and death. Unable to keep him behind bars, the cops declare war on him. Frank's answer, put a contract out on the cops. So, kind of a mobster, drug lord type movie. Christopher Walken does a great job playing his character. It's been a while since I watched this one, but I really remember enjoying it a lot. Next up is one I've only heard people talk highly of. I lucked out and got this version, and I think there's only a VHS, and then this is the Warner Archive DVD of Angus. So it says, Angus is fat, dorky, and smart, a kid with an uncool pal and a crush on a cheerleader. Angus is funny, rowdy, and triumphant, a totally cool movie with a dead-on eye and ear for the hilarious, heartbreaking rite of passage called high school. A great cast, including Academy Award winners George C. Scott and Kathy Bates as Angus's oddball family, sparks the story about what happens when Angus is named King of the Winter Ball as a prank, and how he turns humiliation into victory. And this is just a great film. Definitely recommend this one. Got two Kinos. The first one is Burt Reynolds in White Lightning. There's actually a sequel to this as well called Gator. His character name in this movie is Gator McCluskey. Didn't care for that one near as much as this one. This one is pretty similar, I would say, to Smokey and the Bandit, but slightly different, and it's still really good. So I think this one needs to be talked about more. Burt Reynolds plays Gator McCluskey, a moonshine runner who wages war against corrupt police officials in this two-fisted four-wheeling action extravaganza. With adrenaline pumping car chases, bone-crunching brawls, and terrific acting by an all-star cast including Ned Beatty, Diane Land, Bo Hopkins, Matt Clark, and R.G. Armstrong. Gator is serving time in this Arkansas prison when he learns that a ruthless and corrupt sheriff, played by Betty, has framed and killed his baby brother. Swearing vengeance, Gator agrees to Gator agrees to go undercover to expose the dirty sheriff, going to any lengths to get the goods and make him pay for the crime. And there's also if you get this Kino version, there's a Burt Reynolds Back to the Bayou Part 1 featurette. I highly suggest checking out, because he doesn't speak so highly of a couple of people, and it's kind of funny, and kind of in depth on the people he did kind of like to work with on this movie. But I definitely recommend it. It came out in 1973, and it's 101 minutes. If you like Burt Reynolds, this is a must-watch. Next up is a Whoopi Goldberg movie, The Associate. Really enjoyed this one. Out of her movies, this might be my favorite. Jumpin' Jack Flash is really good. There are a few that I haven't watched, but I'm a Whoopi fan, and this is one of my favorites. So she handles business her own way in this outrageous comedy hit. Whoopi plays a fast-track executive who starts her own company after a backstabbing coworker nabs her promotion. But when she's locked out of the stuffy corporate world, she invents a dazzling male business partner to sell her ideas. Her wacky plan soon spins wildly out of control, however, and when her bogus associate becomes Wall Street's hottest financial whiz, Whoopi herself must now impersonate him. Donald Petrie directed this hilarious comedy, co-starring Diane West, Eli Wallach, Tim Daly, Babe Newirth, Austin Pendleton, and Lainey Kazan. I don't know. But yeah, definitely enjoyed this one. It's kind of similar in a way to Remington Steele, if you haven't watched that TV show with Pierce Brosnan, which is also very good. Kind of the same kind of concept, but this one's really enjoyable. Definitely recommend that one. And lastly, we got Christian Slater and Pump Up the Volume. I believe it only has this DVD release. This movie is a lot of fun. If you like Christian Slater, this is my favorite probably movie that I've seen with him in it. So by day, Mark Hunter, played by Christian Slater, is a painfully shy new kid in a small Arizona town. But by night, he's Hard Harry, the cynical, uncensored DJ of a pirate radio station. Idolized by his high school classmates, who are unaware of his real identity, Harry becomes a hero with his fiercely funny monologues on sex, love, and rock and roll. But when He exposes the corrupt school principal. She calls in the FCC to shut Harry down. An outrageous rebel with a cause, Slater gives a brilliant performance as the reluctant hero who inspires his classmates to find their own voices of rebellion and individuality. A lot of fun movie, classic Slater. Looks like it came out in 1990. So yeah, here's the stack of movies I feel like aren't talked about enough, that I've really enjoyed the last few years watching. So I definitely recommend checking these out. If you'd like to see, I'm sure there are some other ones that I could hit on in future videos, or if there's any other type of thing that's just not a regular pickup video that you would like to see from me, please let me know. I'm trying to reorganize the movie room, hopefully somewhat here today. So that'll kind of, once I actually do that, which might take some time, it'll be even more easy to make these type of videos. So hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please let me know down below. And like I said, if you have any other recommendations, please let me know that as well. So this is Physical Media Man signing off. Physical media will never die.
Physical Media Man. Physical Media Man. Physical Media Man. Yeah!